TD Ryan Unleashed is brought to you by Scott Zyman, your State Farm insurance agent. Scott can help you save money bundling your home and auto insurance. Call 815-748-3101 or stop by at 2587 Sycamore Road, Suite D in DeKalb. Like a good neighbor, Scott Zyman and State Farm are there. Pizza Villa, pizza, pasta, sandwiches, and more at 824 West Lincoln Highway in DeKalb. For delivery or pickup, call 815-758-8116 or go to pizzavilla.com. My Insurance Guys in Sycamore, family owned, local, reliable. My Insurance Guys cover Medicare to auto and everything in between. Call us in Sycamore at 815-899-0950. My Insurance Guy, business, auto, home, life, and health at myinsuranceguy.com. And Eldercare Services of DeKalb County, safe, secure, and supported, helping you stay at home where you want to be. Call 815-758-6550 or stop in at 1701 East Lincoln Highway in DeKalb or on the web at ecsdekalb.org.
Also brought to you by Blue Silo Orchard. Blue Silo Orchard would like to invite you to their orchard at 19387 Tower Road in Rochelle. You can find us on Facebook at Blue Silo Orchard for up-to-date hours. We now have a variety of apples and pears and along with pumpkins and even some sunflowers left. You can find us on Facebook at bluesiloorchard.com. That's bluesiloorchard.com. And welcome in to TD Ryan Unleashed News Podcast number 18. Honored and privileged to have with us from the 6th Ward of DeKalb, 6th Ward Alderman Mike Verbic. Mike, how you doing, my friend?
Great, TD. How about you?
I'm doing great. Thanks so much for taking time to talk to us this morning. I see you ran as an independent, Mike. Was that something did you lean towards a Democrat or Republican, or why run as an independent?
Well, we filed as independents for the office of Alderman in DEKALB. So essentially pursuing that office, like you had mentioned before, there was no competition, no one else ran. My pursuit does not change. I'm going door to door to learn the expectations of Ward 6, whether there's an opponent or not.
And does it matter, do you think, a Democrat, Republican, when we talk about, for instance, the DeKalb City Council, that should it be irrelevant whether you're a Democrat or Republican?
No.
It shouldn't?
No.
Now, why do you say that?
Well, essentially, at least the history of DEKALB has had us not file as partisan candidates. So candidates are not filing or declaring whether they are Republican or Democratic. Certainly with our structure in DEKALB and the way that the council functions in serving the public, I don't see that it's relevant as to which party the person is maybe supporting outside of their council service.
Now, we saw that when Lynn Wynn was running for mayor, that she declared as a Democrat, and again, that created some more expense at that point too. But you also ran for mayor. Tell us about when you ran for mayor, why you did decide to run for mayor back then.
Oh gosh, it was not done without the support of my wife and family at the time, and they encouraged me first and foremost to go for it. And it was during a time in which we were having great success with the school district when I was serving as school board president, and certainly with the leadership experience and the success that I had helping build consensus among the school board. I was fortunate to have a lot of people supporting the notion of me serving as mayor.
I meant to open by thanking you for all your work you've done for the community, in addition to being school board president, all the stuff that you give back. We'll talk about your volunteering as well, too. But we want to get into the news. We're going to do the news. Dan Lynch, the oak tree of the news department, is here with us. And Mike Verbic, we encourage you to comment when you feel like it's necessary. All right?
Hi, Dan.
All right, Dan, what do you got there, my friend?
Sycamore community is really in shock after an apparent double murder this week. The Sycamore man was arrested after his parents were found dead in a home. This was on Oakland Drive, Tuesday morning. Deputies responded to a call from a family member and found a 60-year-old male who's now been identified as Gary Schmidt and a 59-year-old female, Holly Schmidt, apparently husband and wife. Authorities say they died from blunt force trauma. Law enforcement caught up with their son, a 35-year-old male, Kevin, near Rockford Airport later on Tuesday. He also lived at the home. He was taken into custody and charged with 4 counts of first-degree murder. The son has since appeared in court and confessed to the killing of his parents. A judge denied his release in DeKalb County Court, citing the severity of the allegations and his previous criminal record. DeKalb County Sheriff Andrew Sullivan told the media that his agency had been called to that address before and that Kevin had recently moved back in.
Yeah, and you can imagine what the parents must be going through. I mean, because they had, my understanding was they had a restraining order at one point, and I guess that expired, and that's when this young man did what he did. But, oh my gosh. So really not much.
Unthinkable, yeah.
Yeah, and it gets just
It's
terrible.
just so sad.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it shows you that in any community, that these things can happen. Just you never know. Just
And certainly in public service, the first thing is, the devastation for the family, in my thoughts at least, first and foremost. But then right away, I'm thinking, well, what can we do, again, in our service to whether it's our city or county or whatever the case may be, what can we do? Is there something we can do better to, whether it's intervening or, and again, I have no idea what resources would be available or whatnot, but it would seem like we as governing bodies, should be talking more about, and I know that there's lots of services out there.
right. We just had
already, but-
we just had our friends in the Ben Gordon Center here. We did a suicide prevention show. And we were talking about that, about getting the help beforehand, before something like this happens, and testing. We talked about at schools, maybe doing more testing at schools and things of that nature. But Mike, keep that though, because let's change the subject here. But this is something I have not watched a lot of DeKalb City Council meetings, but I watched this one twice. This last one that was on September 22nd. Now there was a case about the solar, Bitcoin mining center solar farm. Now, my understanding was it voted down originally, the first vote 5-1. In order to make this happen, then one of the members who voted no the first time around had to bring forth a resolution to reconsider her vote. In this case, it was Carolyn Cesada. This comes as no surprise. Well, that's but tonight, by a vote of 4-4 in open session, the council voted to reverse the course of the Bitcoin mining issue. City Code 212 clearly states a majority vote is required. So my understanding, Mike, was that there were 7 aldermen in DeKalb, and so you have a vote. You wouldn't seldom have a tie, but if somebody excluded themselves, then you might have a 3-3 tie. Then the mayor would vote. So when does the mayor vote in DeKalb?
I should be voting when there is a tie. So essentially, to your point, TD, is that if that vote would have been, for example, 3-3, then certainly the mayor would vote whether the vote was supporting or not supporting.
Right.
That would be the time when the mayor would vote.
But in this case, they did they had the mayor vote, and ironically, it came up 4-4. At which point, the city attorney inquired that they had a majority, and they will take the motion to reconsider. And the city attorney said yes. Walker was not satisfied with the answer. Neither was 6th Ward Alderman Mike Verbic. Verbic asked the question: would a 4-4 vote be considered a majority? And the answer was no. Right. So I mean, that seems pretty basic to me.
It's pretty basic, TD, and a follow-up question I had was, what would be that situation where 4-4 would be prevailing for anything?
Right.
So again, being in elected service since 2005, so many years, that was a new one for me. That 4-4 would or could be a prevailing vote.
Now, we used to have a city attorney. Now we have, if I have this correct, Donahue and Rose is our city attorneys, the firm that represents us. And the city council said that he would go back and what did he say? That he would remove the city attorney claimed they didn't realize the city attorney claimed they didn't realize that 4-4 was a majority and had to study the city code. So apparently, and I guess it was a delay, and then he came back and he figured out that it should have been that we're not going to reconsider this, right?
Well, correct. And again, there's certainly anytime you're talking about 4-4 being a prevailing vote, there's whispers around the night with council and certainly with myself, Alderman Walker. We're just.
Yeah, I want to credit Alderman Walker for bringing that up.
It just springs up to where. How does 4-4 prevail in any situation, right? So, but again, we are council members, so maybe some of us could be attorneys, but at the end of the day, we are reliant upon our attorney service for these kinds of questions that could be needing legal ease, shall we say, but I don't see a 4-4. Okay. I don't see a tie even needing a city attorney to be involved in the first place.
Yeah.
So, I'm not sure why the mayor deemed it approved at 4-4, but you'd have to ask.
Okay, because it just seemed like it's Twilight episode, because I'm like, is anybody doing the math here? I'm like, it's 4-4. That's not a majority.
Right.
And so this issue will now, but we learned something here, at least I did anyway. So if somebody, an alderman votes against something in DEKALB and then wants to reconsider, they go, well, you know what, maybe I'm not going to change my mind. They can bring that up again, right? But not somebody who voted yes, though.
Right, that's correct.
Okay, well, that's a great thing to know. So right now, this is a dead issue then?
Yes, it's dead.
Okay, all right, well, thank you for clearing that up. We appreciate it. Dan, what else you got there, my friend?
By the way, wouldn't the clerk catch that, or
Wouldn't you think?
he's taking roll?
Yeah, Brad Hoy, the clerk, was taking roll, and he said he apparently missed that as well, that he declared it a majority at 4-4.
Okay.
So that was what's the surreal part, is everybody kept saying it was a majority, and I'm like, no, it's 4-4.
But also to your point about the clerk calling the vote, you're making a good point, because the clerk does not have to call for the mayor's vote unless what, guys?
Right, unless it's a tie.
All right.
Right.
So, but we continue to call the
I saw
mayor's
it
vote for
every
whatever
time.
reason. And again, this is a matter that we work on among council
Okay.
and mayor.
Thanks for clearing that up, Mike. We appreciate that. What else you got there, Dan?
Well, that's the Green Bay Packers and the Dallas Cowboys. That was not a 4-4 tie,
No, it was not.
but I watched a lot of football and nobody won. A 29-year-old woman from Davis Junction, I think your headphones are a little close.
Oh, was that, okay, yeah.
A 29-year-old female from Davis Junction and a 67-year-old male from Kentucky were critically hurt Sunday afternoon. This was after their Harley-Davidson trike rolled at the intersection of Route 30 and University Road. The DeKalb County Sheriff's Office says the trike was heading east on Route 30, turned north. The driver lost control, went into the ditch and overturned, landing on both of them. The female was taken to Northwestern KCH, and the male was flown to Javon Bay Hospital in Rockford. Authorities say both sustained critical injuries, but they were not life-threatening. And I don't know if the trike...
Is that the three-wheel, right? Three-wheel?
Two wheels in the back, one in the front?
Right.
Or the other way around? Mike, do you know anything about motorcycles? I don't.
I don't. I myself. I had a Suzuki 350 and I had a lady run me off the road and then I put it away and never picked it up again.
Became very knowledgeable of my Yamaha YZ125.
There you go, a little dirt bike, all right?
Back in the 80s, dirt bike, loved it. My dad owned street bikes and such, so rode those too.
Okay.
Don't have a familiarity with a trike per se.
Yeah, but I think that's our third motorcycle accident without involving somebody else here, just in the last month and a half or so. It's
Yeah.
really scary out there, boy. And I know a lot of people should be aware when they cut the grass, don't have the grass on the roadway because the motorcycles slip on that. I learned about that. And then the thing I always point out too, I always wondered why the motorcycles, like on 38 and 64, why do they ride so close to the middle? Well, my understanding is, right, there's oil patches in the middle of the road, so they're trying to get to the side of that. So that's why they're so close to the middle of the road there. But our hopes and prayers are with that family. Boy, that's really tough there.
Yeah, very much so.
Now, Mike, again, we're talking to Sixth Ward Alderman Mike Verbic is joining with us today. I see that the city of DeKalb is hiring firefighters, paramedics with the city of DeKalb. You can fill out the information there. How is that working out with the new fire station, Mike? Are we able to get that enough people to work there? And does it cost more than we thought it was going to be so far?
Yes, the staff, as far as getting it staffed, it is staffed. It is fully operational.
Okay.
And has been quite the lifesaver already in its proximity to Ward 6. And for example, one house fire in Ward 6, they were there in a matter of minutes to make sure that the fire didn't spread.
Yeah.
So it's already making a difference to have the station there.
And we talked about seconds being critical in this situation.
Seconds are critical, and minutes even more so. So nonetheless, yes, it's a constant process as far as hiring, recruiting, whether that's fire or police. Or even among many other positions among the city. So it's quite an effort to get out there, recruit, get those interested in that career, right?
Right.
And it is quite a career, and
there's so much more.
Lovely opportunity in the city of DeKalb.
Yeah, there's so much more to it right now. I mean, the paramedic aspect of it is just, I always thought you could be just a fireman, but now you have to be fireman/paramedic, and a lot of studying on it. My niece tried to do it and she came up a little bit short, so not an easy thing to do.
Not at all. And just the demands of the role continue to evolve and become, more and more difficult. The roles don't become more simple. There's just, again, the technical expertise now that's evolving and certainly challenging for everybody to keep up with.
And then the mental health aspect. I mean, you got to factor that in there too.
Right.
So, yeah. All right, very good. Dan, what else you got for the news, my friend? Because then I want to ask you about homelessness in DeKalb. I know that came up at the last city council meeting.
Sure.
A Shabana woman is accused of trying to burn down her ex's home
Oh, my.
in Shabana. According to arrest documents, DeKalb County Sheriff's deputies say they were called to a home on University Road, 8,000 block. This is back in June. It appears that someone tried to torch a golf cart in the attached garage. 44-year-old Heather Bonnell is now charged with attempted arson and criminal damage to property. Police say 2 weeks after that, she was accused of getting a hold of her ex's checkbook and writing passing checks at a local watering hole in Shabana. She's now charged with 2 counts of fraud and 2 counts of theft.
See, now we were talking about, and Mike, I wonder what your opinion on this, because we've had cases in DeKalb where people have shot into a group of people and they get charged with, they don't get charged with murder, right? I forget what exactly the manslaughter the case would be. And here's another case where you're starting a house or starting a structure next to the house on fire with somebody in there, allegedly. So again, I don't know what exactly she'll be charged with there, but what are your thoughts about when, we have these people shooting into a group of people and, and just getting a proverbial slap on the wrist, if you would?
For my thought, it's what's the stiffest, harshest penalty available. Otherwise, it's going to only continue.
Right.
So when is that time where, again, public safety, from a standpoint of real public safety, when does it get real? And I think that we're long overdue on, again, I think you were commenting, I'm not sure what people could be charged with or what.
Right, I was just generalizing.
If you think of shooting into a group of people, that's attempted murder,
Right,
isn't it?
right. I mean, there's a very strong possibility you're going to kill
I
somebody.
don't know the legalese of it all, but
Yeah.
in my mind, a better justice system would pursue that as, again, trying to develop a system of public safety where these things are not tolerated whatsoever. And the harshest penalties are known for people that are considering that kind of violence.
I like that. That's a great answer, too. And while we're talking about that, recently homelessness came up at the city council meeting, the DeKalb City Council meeting. And again, the factor of safety also is a factor. We talked about the 4th and Lincoln Highway. Many people who live in DeKalb know that's a congregating place, if you would, for people that are currently homeless. And the gazebo there, now Mayor Barnes mentioned that he had gone by there and saw some people drinking and possibly relieving themselves there at the... But again, I also know the Universalist Church, which is right there, does wonderful things with the warming centers. And we have people, I work at the Hayes Gym now, and we have people come to take showers there and, be able to go out and get that job, maybe clean up and get that job. So what are your thoughts about that with the homelessness in DeKalb? Again, not an easy question for sure.
No, not at all. But again, it's how do we best work together? How do we pool our resources to this challenge? And so oftentimes I see our local governmental bodies operating in silos. And I think the only silos in DeKalb should be the ones on the farm.
All right.
So, how do we do a better job? And I know that, again, this is no offense to the people working on it already. Unbelievable success with Hope Haven over the years. And to your point.
Yeah, Leslie Wick spoke, and what a wonderful lady she is. Yeah.
To your point on the churches that lend a hand. And again, it's a challenge that persists. And how do we best improve it? And we're seeing those service providers have success stories one after the other of finding homes for people. So how do we lean in and lend a hand with that for our city of DeKalb residents?
Yeah, I always liken it to from the Bible. You could give a man a fish and he'll eat for a day, but you teach a man to fish, he eats for a lifetime. And that's what they're doing, not just giving him that fish, but then teaching him how to fish as well.
Yeah, so much of a part of it is helping in that life development. And just some extraordinary stories that, again, really put a smile on your face and fly in the face of this Dan's news here over here that he's reading.
Every time I go to him, he's
so
got
much
something.
of what I would rather see in our news. And again, no offense to what you're choosing,
No.
but at the end of the day, there's just so many success stories not only with homeless help, but many other things around the city. So.
And speaking of safety, I just tied in because I see you guys voted recently to add more cameras for police cars, squad cars too. And we're learning more and more, especially in this day and age, that you have to have stuff on videotape, right? You got to have that, and the police officers have to have that, right?
They have to have it, and ultimately, if they have it, it's...
it works for both sides, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and it should be up to date, right? It should be functioning in 2025 standards and provide the resolution that everyone deserves to be able to view the image, right? Mm-hmm. If you are a force that becomes outdated in equipment or whatnot, it really renders it useless at times. And I'm sure you've seen security video footage where you can't even make out hardly anything.
All grainy, yeah.
It's all grainy and whatnot. So I think in our recent action to keep that up to date, keep the body cam system and other cameras for public safety up to date was critical.
That's great. That's great to know that. All right, Dan, what else you got there, my friend? And let's lighten it up a little. You got something later?
I can lighten it up. In Ogle County, a 34-year-old female was heading west in her Toyota on Route 64. She slowed down to avoid a possum. This was earlier this week.
Our first possum story, all right?
Her Camry was rear-ended by a Mack truck.
Ouch.
Female was not hurt, thank God. She refused medical attention. The driver of the semi, a 53-year-old male from Indiana, was cited for failing to reduce speed. Possum not cited. As it occurred.
Possum not cited.
It occurred just before 11 p.m.
Well, look at the miracles
Those are his hours.
Miracles of modern technology. This girl survived getting rear-ended by a semi-truck. I mean, my God. I don't know what she was driving.
Trailer, yeah.
Wow. Unbelievable. So, Mike, while you're here, I wanted to talk about the success we've had here. In 2020, two international companies came to DeKalb, Ferrero Candy Company and Facebook. They invested roughly $800 million in initial phase, and then Ferrero came along and invested another $100 million. Now we have $1.6 million in the Talbot in the parking center. There were the police station, or where the across from the police station. What's being built there? It's a bank is being built there, right?
That's Bank.
Yeah. So tell us about that. So all kinds of development going on here in DeKalb.
Yeah, it's outstanding, and again, credit to many people with how this works, right? Mm-hmm. It's not just an individual making it happen. And we've been very fortunate to have the right team, the right combination of people over the years. Certainly, starting full force during my first term, beginning in 2017 with Mayor Smith, is when really things started taking off. Uh-huh. And it was just finding the right incentive and other things that are important to the partnerships with business and industry that are considering DEKALB.
What about the people that said, "Oh, geez, another bank? We don't need another bank there." But who's to say who's going to buy a property and build something there?
Yeah, right. So coming into, I mentioned beginning first service in 2017. It was Alderman Fagan at the time, also elected at that time, that struck up the conversation about, well, how many properties does the city of DeKalb own? And I think at the time it was 27 properties, and a lot of very different properties, homes to commercial sites and whatnot. So the council got to talking at the time and decided to take action. And the action we took was to start selling these properties to get them back on the tax roll.
Right, because you're losing the tax money, right? Okay.
There was no need to keep this inventory of properties, and some had been many years. And I'm not sure what the logic was prior to us, but our initiative has continued even with this now, third council, right? Different council that is agreeing with how do we make best use of any city-owned property, which was the case for this Heartland Bank branch, which was previously owned by the city of DeKalb, which was an older building that was falling.
Yeah, and they had the DeKalb Retirement Center in there, yeah, right? Yeah, okay.
Yep. So anyway, successful with relocating that program and whatnot, but the reality is that it was going to be tens, if not hundreds of thousands to maintain this building, when the reality is that as long as we can find a home for those critical senior services and whatnot, that we should move it along and find a buyer, and we did.
And how many of those 28 do we still have now? Is it, because I was wondering about, somebody's asking me about that property at Lincoln Highway and 4th Street there. It used to be a bank there, and now it's just an open lot, and possibly making it into a park. I heard that proposed. Is that something, do you have any thoughts on that?
I had not heard that. I've heard a number of things suggested, recommended.
Okay,
everything
because it's kind of a tight fit there, right? But yeah.
So the number one suggestion for that space has been parking. And
Okay, we love our parking in DeKalb.
so I know that a previous city engineer looked at that for parking. I'm not sure, what the result of that was, but it would be great, yes, to make that space something that everyone could enjoy. And,
Yeah.
A park that I guess you'll enjoy, is it 82 trains a day or whatnot whipping by?
Right.
But, whatever everyone thinks is the best fit for that property.
All right, and I got one more thing with the draining of it. We talk about Facebook and Ferrer and company, and I've had several of our community members say to me, "Well, where's all the power going to come from?" I mean, because this is going to take a lot of power, a lot of water. How do we answer that question? How do we are we bringing in more power here to DeKalb to take care of these big companies?
Well, and that was something I brought up during the discussion of this last solar farm / boutique data center was, again, with the outages that we've had in Ward 6, the question I rose during that public meeting was, how much power do we have available, right?
Right.
What is our capacity? The mayor mentioned ComEd proposing a substation at the south end of town near the business and industry, near, I think, Meta.
That would be logical, yeah.
That would seem logical. I don't know any of the details on that or whatnot. But
Okay.
again, my point, though, is, again, what is the available power and what will this substation, for example, what does that bring to the table? Will Ward 6 have fewer power outages as a result? And certainly the other concern I'm hearing from many is their ComEd bill. And
Right.
how can we continue supporting development of business and industry without it negatively impacting our ComEd bill?
Exactly, because we've been telling people how all the benefits going to come, but then to be negatively impacted, that would be a bad thing.
We need, we have more work to do.
And what about this boutique term that I'm hearing? Is that something that just means smaller? Is that what we're talking about? The boutique substation, whatever this thing is called, the data centers. You're calling it a boutique data center? Boutique?
That's where their name came from.
Okay.
I'm not sure where boutique came from.
Oh, okay. I want to make sure I wasn't missing something there.
Certainly what I suggested to them and will continue to suggest is that as we have development opportunities next to residential developments, what are those business and industry opportunities? And how do we end up having good neighbors, again, business and industry with residential? And I think, how do we take a closer look at what some of those businesses should be? And hard to determine, right?
Right.
How do we determine what should be or should not be? That's not fair. But in the notion of this boutique data center, one of the objections or many of the objections were noise, right? Well, one way to handle that objection, and it's happening already all over, is to mitigate the noise. So the company could have installed acoustic treatment to literally prevent anyone in the residential development from hearing it.
Okay.
So it's going to be a combination of, how do we best partner with our residents, that many have been here for years, to find a proper business or industry that should be located next to a residential development. And if it is one that creates noise, then part of that deal should be to mitigate that noise for your function, for your operation.
There you go. Going on. Very good. All right, great answer there. Dan, what do you get some more news? And again, keep it light.
I
No, I'm kidding.
I
You
got
got one more?
more.
Okay.
By the way, I love a wiffle ball stadium.
Oh, that would be great.
Oh, yeah.
That would be great. Oh, man.
An investment guidance group has found that Illinois is second only to New York in collecting taxes on sports betting. A study by the Motley Fool revealed that Illinois has taken in $958 million.
Wow.
Almost $1 billion in the last 7 years. Overall, states have collected $9.3 billion in taxes on sports betting. So Illinois almost won that $9 billion.
Wow.
So
What are the odds on that? I was going to say. No pun intended.
yeah, I mean, it's a vice. But I gotta ask, can I ask the Alderman?
Please, yes.
After watching you for 4 years, I thought I had you pegged for I don't know about a Thomas Massey libertarian, but definitely a libertarian. Is that true? I hate to put you on the spot.
We should find a libertarians want less government, right? Because I'm all for that myself.
Well,
Or are they? What's libertarians think?
yeah, definitely that less government and kind of a real independence, just real hardcore independence.
What says that about that independent thing? Yeah.
Well, yeah, to your point, I've never filed candidacy papers as a libertarian, so I don't know that I would qualify as a libertarian, but, certainly I think that it's our responsibility, as a local government to provide for public safety, for streets and infrastructure, for water, for things that are critical to the lives of those that we serve. So, that's essentially that view, I guess.
Well, he's not predictable.
No.
Some of them are.
I like that about him. Hey, let's talk about Mike Verbic a little bit here. I interviewed Pete Johnson years ago, and Pete Johnson, legendary coach at Sycamore High School. And he said he grew up across from the football field, and he said that was his whole life. And I'm reading your little bio here, and it says that Mike Verbic used to ride around the campus of NIU on his bicycle all the time. And your mom and dad took you to concerts, and that's how you got the interest in music. Tell us about that. And you also had a paper route when you were younger. My first system was completed in middle school. My friends would come over to listen to records, America's Top 40, and Casey Kasem on the radio. But tell us about this. You're a kid in grade school. You got a paper route so you can buy some of this fancy equipment.
Most definitely. Yes. So essentially, yes, riding our bikes all over NIU campus was just a regular occurrence. And it was not just NIU campus, it was all over the city of DeKalb. So quite fun. And again, one neighbor, we ended up racing around their house. So we unfortunately tore into their yard and made a proverbial dirt track around our friend's house. And but those are great parents, right? That just watch you,
right? And
you're having a great time. You're tearing the out of their lawn, but you're out there enjoying it. So yes, no. So on that bicycle was multiple paper routes. DeKalb Chronicle, my first employer. Also, I delivered the Sun-Times and the Tribune on Sundays. And that was when I really, I think, felt that notion of talking with the public and hearing those expectations. And yes, it was just paper routes at the time, but it was a way to get out into the public, door to door. At that time, we collected.
I was going to say, you have to collect. That was always the hard part.
Right. So that you, again, building those relationships in the neighborhood, I think was that first itch of, I really enjoy serving the public.
And then you went, of course, again, the work ethic. I admire your work ethic. And then you went to Kish and continued to work full-time when you went to Kish. Now, you graduated in market or statistics, right? Originally, you're going to be an accountant? Is that what you want to do?
Well, I graduated from Kishwaukee College with an associate's degree and was headed to NIU as an intended accounting major. But at that time, unfortunately, I failed the AQE accounting.
Things didn't add up, I guess, yeah.
For me at the time, but instead of waiting to retake the test, I declared marketing as a major. And
you said an advisor advised you to do that, right?
Yes, a few advisors, mentors at the university, Dr. Jeff Gordon being one of those, who still lives here locally. Nonetheless, though, it was a great decision. Looking back, no regrets. I was working for an audio video contractor at the time, and so I've literally stayed in that field generally my entire career.
Yeah, so 2006, and then you became the chief broadcasting engineer in 2018. And I heard you telling Dan what you guys do. Just give a rough idea of some of the stuff Mike does. Streaming production for NIU, ESPN broadcast, board of trustee meetings, NIU commencements, football and Husky stadium events, regional high school graduations. I know you did all that. Special events at Altgeld Hall and Bosima Alumni and Visitor Center, among others there. So you keep yourself pretty busy, don't you?
It's a lot of fun. I tell you, we've got a big week this week. A big game for our
homecoming week, yes.
Homecoming week. Big for the city of DeKalb and definitely the Ward 6 Business District. When we have these home games, it's extremely impactful to the Ward 6 Business District. all with.
Remind people where Ward 6 is, please. Roughly, what do you got? Where's Ward 6?
Ward 6 is spread out quite a bit. So it's the entirety of Northern Illinois University campus.
Okay.
It is everything on West Lincoln Highway from the river to the west edge of town.
Okay.
It is the Knolls. It is the Schnucks shopping center and all of the homes located around that.
Really?
And it comes up Taylor Street and includes part of what's called Kensington Point, which is a subdivision off of Taylor Street.
Okay.
So it's pretty spread out, and it grew after the last census.
Wow. I know where all those places are. It's so cool. I'm a native now. And time now for our community calendar, brought to you by the Stagecoach Players Theater and incorporated in the state of Illinois for a nonprofit corporation. Just a wonderful group. Now, have you ever acted, Mike? You ever doing a little acting over there at the Stagecoach?
No.
Didn't even hesitate at that one. But their latest production is The Haunting of the Hill House coming up, is going to run October 30th through November 9th, and we're going to be giving tickets away here on our news quiz program, so be listening for that here in just a moment. And also, our friends at Elder Care Services remind you, Comedy Night is coming up on October 17th. Doors open at 6, show starts at 7 at the Regal Center in Sycamore. Wonderful folks over there. You know the folks at the Elder Care Center, Tara Russo and the gang over there, just tremendous work that they do.
Oh, my gosh. Essential service to DEKALB.
And always pointing out that they are not a government agency, too, so help them out with this fundraiser if you can. NIU, we're talking about that. What about the Huskies, Mike? What's the fate of the Huskies this year?
How about those Huskies?
How about those Huskies?
Yeah, a tight game, 6-3.
Yeah, boy, you don't see that much anymore.
Quite a defensive struggle, and the defense really has shown up so far this season. And excited about now our MACtion, our MAC conference games begin this Saturday with Miami of Ohio, and continue the rest of the season for our last season in the Mid-America Conference.
That's right. And are you ready for that on the West Coast? Is that going to be a whole new thing for your department to go and have to go on new stadiums and new locations like that?
It's a newer thing, right?
Yeah.
With each stadium, they present their own opportunities with different things that impact what we're doing on the road from a video production standpoint. So pretty exciting.
It really is.
It is a heck of an opportunity. Some of the places we've been, some we've not. So it'll be great to learn what the Mountain West has to offer.
That'll be fun to watch for sure. And in high school level, I want to mention too that the Sycamore remains undefeated in conference play there with a 35-7 win over Ottawa last week. So congratulations to Coach Ryan and the gang there. DEKALB, not so much. They lost to Lincoln Way Central. Again, the Lincoln Way schools are just brutal. And they lost to them 45-7. Cole Latimer, the quarterback, was the only bright point with the lone touchdown. He was sacked 3 times as well. And Genoa Kingston got a big win there over North Boone, 56-38. So congratulations to them. And now as we go to the birthday list, and of course the obits rather. Now, I was telling all our guests, Mike, that I turned 65 last year, and I tend to start reading the obits. All of a sudden, I don't know if it's allowed or required to do, but I find it fascinating to see people's lives and what they did. And let's just do a couple here. Kevin Larson of DEKALB, formerly of Palatine, died peacefully in his sleep while he was described as the best day of his life watching the Fighting Illini team win a football game. So, I mean, how great is that? We had a obit last week that said after a not such a courageous fight against old age, and people finding levity in their obits. I find that quite interesting. And here's a gentleman who, his whole life, the best day of his life, watching the Illini win football, It's
celebrating a life.
Yeah, isn't that great to see that? He was a teacher at Canelan High School for almost 20 years, coached volleyball, bachelor in special education at Northern Illinois University. But this is a gentleman I want to get to, Jerry Durham, with a 15th of 16 children. I mean, can you wrap your head around that? My wife had 10 kids in her family. 15 of 16 children born to Christopher and Lottie Brown Durham. Jerry was the last of his siblings to be called home, completing a remarkable family legacy. Jerry had a strong sense of responsibility and resourcefulness. He earned money whenever he could. He picking up and selling cans, bottles, corn cobs, coal, shoveling snow, and delivering newspapers. By 6th grade, he had started raising rabbits to sell. He also worked alongside his father in the tree trimming business, joined the Navy at the age of 17, married his lovely wife Bernice, and were together for 65 years, had Jeannie and Jack as their kids. Now look at this. He worked at the Anaconda Wire Cable Company, the Automatic Electric, owned and managed the Marathon gas station. It was an auto mechanic. He sold sweet corn, watermelons, and cantaloupe on the corner of Main and Sycamore Street in Genoa for his father-in-law, Lester Odom. He drove a truck for Hinchy Fertilizer. He allowed him to pursue his passion for fur trapping in the off-season. After giving up his driver's license due to macular degeneration, he rode his four-wheelers in ditches all over DeKalb, Boone, and McHenry counties, picking up aluminum cans. It's estimated he picked over 250,000 cans in his lifetime. So talk about a work, I talk about you with your work ethic at a young age. To see a gentleman like this, it just been busting his ass his whole life, right up until the end of his life there, picking up cans in the gutter like that.
Yeah, and certainly taught by my folks that, again, if I wanted to buy packs of baseball cards and electronic equipment and those kinds of things, that the way that I could do that is delivering newspapers, or again, first job at 16 was washing dishes at Ponderosa.
Oh, good for you.
So, again, all of those steps toward, how to be responsible.
And Dan might not know this, but you were neighbors to my lovely wife, Becky Beck, and her 3 boys growing up. And your brother, tell us about your family, your brothers, and your mom. Your mom was an alderwoman as well.
Yes, alderwoman who succeeded one that resigned at the time. And but our great news is we're expecting as grandparents.
Oh, congratulations!
Our grandchild, and that will be the 7th generation of our family as DEKALB residents. So our congratulations to our daughter-in-law and son as they are expecting. And so yeah, it's a long lineage of family in DEKALB and public service. My would have been great grandfather was a part of bringing the notion of attending high school back then. So I think largely schools stopped at, I'd have to back check this, they stopped at 8th grade.
I thought it was 8th grade, okay.
Nonetheless, he was a part of a team that developed the notion of high school. And again, building DEKALB High School was a result of that. And so again, yes, mom, very involved in the community, whether it was Girl Scouts or coaching AYSO soccer and all of those things. And, dad.
She works very hard on her lawn, I might add, too.
Dad is an engineer at the phone company, so
Okay.
we know where we got the engineer thing from. But nonetheless, he got me into racing stock cars at Sycamore Speedway. So that's one thing that I feel very fortunate to got to be able to do was go race cars.
Did you do that,
On
really?
the clay oval, yes.
Wow.
And that he allowed me to include my friends. So my friends were able to drive the car and race around the clay oval and get bashed into the wall and all that good.
I was offered a one-on-one race with Scott Zach, the newsman, and I turned it down because I would do about 25, and he'd be lapping me, so I wasn't going to embarrass myself like that. Let's take a look at this date in history, brought to you our friends at DeKalb County History Center. Again, check out DeKalbCountyHistoryCenter.org, all the great stuff that they do, all the great information they have for you. Now, I found this one very interesting. There are a large number, this is from 1925, so 100 years ago. A large number of people in DeKalb were looked without seeing. A young woman in DeKalb last Tuesday evening made a use of a long-distance telephone booth at the Innovation. I know what the Innovation was at the Innovation. While in the booth, she dropped her pocketbook containing a large sum of money. The loss was not discovered until late yesterday morning, as the young woman immediately went to the telephone booth, hoping against hope that the money might still be there. The pocketbook was there with all the money, which had been used several times after she had made the telephone call. So, are the people really honest, or they were very unobservant? This is another one from 1925. Some discussion about the businessmen on North 4th Street. Again, we get the streets in DeKalb. We're obsessed to have that stretch between Lincoln Highway and Locust Street paved this fall, as several businesses in the favor of the plan. The streets may be paved soon. The plan point out that the street being paved from John Street and West Lincoln Highway, for which work will start a few days. So basically, the guys are in town, so they hired them to do it while they're in town, right? But we forget a lot of these little roads here in DeKalb were not paved at one point.
No.
And then finally, I want to mention the employees at the Ergos Inc. And Genoa have caught the bicentennial fever. One weekend, 2 supervisors painted a bicentennial flag on the 20 by 10 foot wall of the employee lunchroom. And of course, we're coming up on 250 years. And I know the city of DeKalb's got big plans for that, right?
Most definitely.
So we're looking forward to that. Dan, you got a news quiz, and then we'll give some birthdays here. What are you going to ask me there?
What's your prize, TJ?
Well, funny you should ask that, because we have grown immensely here with our prize closet. So we have a gift certificate to Pizza Villa, pizza, pasta, sandwiches, and more over there. John Finn, just a tremendous individual over there. Ralph, I just talked to Ralph from Ralph's Car Wash. Ralph was a little under the weather. He had a little trouble with his heart, and he is doing much better. So, Ralph, we're so glad you're doing well. Ralph's Car Wash, of course, across Menards and Sycamore. We got a deluxe car wash from Ralph's Car Wash. And in addition to all that, we also have 2 tickets to go see Stagecoach Players' latest production, The Haunting. That's going to be October 30th through November 9th. You can find them at 126 South 5th Street, 758-1940, if you can answer the news quiz question.
Illinois, a study from the Motley Fool found that Illinois is second in the nation, only to New York, in collecting taxes on this particular vice.
All right, 748. Oh, wait. Mike knows the answer. I'm giving the radio station number. No, you can contact me at tdryan2001@yahoo.com. Again, if you know the answer, tdryan2001@yahoo.com. You'll get the gift certificate to Ralph's Car Wash, a gift certificate to Pizza Villa, pizza, pasta, and sandwiches, and 2 tickets to the Haunting. So you grab the missus, go get the car washed, and then go out to dinner, and then go see the play. Sounds like a perfect night there. So do that. And again, thanks to our friends there at Ralph's and Pizza Villa, and of course, Stagecoach Players for being our sponsors here on the News Quiz program.
Can I ask Mike one thing?
Please do.
What's your first concert you went to?
First concert, I believe, was Barbara Mandrell.
Oh my, sleeping single in a double bed.
County Fair, I believe, but yes, again, very fortunate. Terry, you mentioned getting to go to many concerts as a youth. I think really spurred my interest in electronics and creating sound and audio engineering in general. But yes, that was one of the first. And
Yeah, most people are watching the guitarist, and Mike's watching the guy on the soundboard. He's back there watching the soundboard guy.
a number of the acts at county fairs at the time, but then first large concert, which was at the Rosemont Horizon, our mom took us to see the AC/DC Back in Black tour.
Oh, come on.
And that was just so memorable. And
She just won the coolest mom of the year award.
she loved it, and certainly my brother and our friends, just a heck of a cool experience and a heck of a cool mom.
Wow.
To take us to that.
I was thinking about listening to the AC/DC album. There's no ballads or nothing. I mean, so a concert must just be straight, just crazy. Just one jam after another. That's unbelievable. Well, Mike, again, we can't thank you enough for being. Mike Verbic has been our guest here this morning, and possibly another run for mayor. What are your thoughts about the future now? Because you seem very comfortable in that 6th ward, and obviously people very happy with what you're doing there.
You never know. I love DEKALB.
And you're a young man. You could do stuff. And how long you see yourself staying at NIU?
Gosh, again, very fortunate to have a great team I work with, and I've always enjoyed the work, and just a tremendous employer that's always been family first. So I'm not sure. I have nothing in mind as far as retirement.
Okay. Well, I know I speak for the community when I thank you for all that you've done, whether it be at the school board or as an alderman or just as a good neighbor. We appreciate everything you've done, Mike. So thanks so much for that.
You're very welcome.
Really appreciate it. Dan, final words. We always give Dan the final word. He always has something strange to say. Dan, what do you got?
Hopefully, the Cubs will still be playing by the
That's
time
right,
it
yeah.
airs.
All right, let's see.
Cubs.
All right. And I want to thank our next week. We'll have a new sponsor, the Blue Silo Orchard in Rochelle. Our friends Russ there. We thank him so much for that, and we look forward to him being a sponsor of the show. Again, thanks to all our sponsors, and a big thanks to Mike Verbic, 6th Ward Alderman in DEKALB, and that's TD Ryan Unleashed News Podcast number 18.
TD Ryan Unleashed is brought to you by Scott Zyman, your State Farm insurance agent. Scott can help you save money bundling your home and auto insurance. Call 815-748-3101 or stop by at 2587 Sycamore Road, Suite D in DEKALB. Like a good neighbor, Scott Zyman and State Farm are there. Pizza Villa, pizza, pasta, sandwiches, and more at 824 West Lincoln Highway in DEKALB. For delivery or pickup, call 815-758-8116 or go to pizzavilla.com. My Insurance Guys in Sycamore, family owned, local, reliable. My Insurance Guys cover Medicare to auto and everything in between. Call us in Sycamore at 815-899-0950. My Insurance Guy, business, auto, home, life, and health at myinsurancegui.com. And Eldercare Services of DeKalb County, safe, secure, and supported, helping you stay at home where you want to be. Call 815-758-6550 or stop in at 1701 East Lincoln Highway in DeKalb or on the web at ecsdekalb.org.
Also brought to you by Blue Silo Orchard. Blue Silo Orchard would like to invite you to their orchard at 19387 Tower Road in Rochelle. You can find us on Facebook at Blue Silo Orchard for up-to-date hours. We now have a variety of apples and pears and along with pumpkins and even some sunflowers left. You can find us on Facebook at bluesiloorchard.com. That's bluesiloorchard.com.